Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the DJ Sessions Presents the Virtual Sessions. I'm your host, Darren, coming all the way in from Seattle, Washington. And I got Cage. That's right. I said it right.
That's right.
I said it right. I
Cage.
said it right. Cage coming in all the way. Now this might be a hard one for me. Stuttgart, Germany.
Yeah, right. Stuttgart from
Okay,
the south of Germany. Yeah.
I got it right.
Hi,
I got it
Darren.
right. Hey, well, you've been on the show before, and thanks for coming back on the show again. It's a pleasure to
hmm
have you here. We're gonna go through some questions here. Do the typical virtual sessions, thing that we do here over at the DJ sessions. So again, thanks
Yeah.
for coming on the show again.
Thank you for having me again.
Yeah, we're gonna jump right in to the stuff. You have some upcoming releases, and we'll be talking about those shortly. But your recently released that I was listening to right before the show, "Wannabe." Tell us all about that. I was kind of hearing the lyrics, and I want you to explain what
Yeah,
"Wannabe" is all about.
yeah. With Wannabe, I wanted to create a tech house bass house track, which is getting more power to the second drop. So it starts like a typical tech house bass house track with a nice first drop, bass house drop with nice vocals. I found it on a Splice sample pack, which I thought it would fit very well to this track. But in the second drop, I don't want to do the same drop again, and I started to get a lift up in the pre-drop, um, and with the lead, which is very loud in the second drop, it will get more power on the dance floor, and then it gets little bit noisier, quieter. So I try to play a little bit with the frequencies of the volume. Yeah, so that was the thing I wanted to do with this track, and I'm very happy that Two Dutch wanted to release it. A label I've worked before, I think half year before, with Let You Go, on a more easier track, smoother track, not so party, more deeper track, also with the meaning for me. Um, and yes, so I'm happy that Two Dutch released it. And also my upcoming releases will be on Two Dutch in the next month. So yeah, really nice.
Well, tell us about the lyrics behind "Wannabe" itself. I mean, I know it said like "wanna be." Is it "wanna be your girlfriend"? "Wanna be your mother"? What it was? There was all
Yeah.
these wannabes in there. Tell us about how you came up with the lyrics for that. Did you collaborate with anyone on that, or was that something you put together? Or
Not on that one. I collaborated with a lot of singer the last month, but not on that one because collaborating with a singer and doing exclusive vocals and such things are also uh, um, okay, a money thing. So if you, yeah, because of course they, if you want an exclusive vocal from a singer which is well known or something like that, you have to pay these vocals. So you can't afford every time you're doing a new track. This one was made with an sample pack vocal, but I think it fitted well. It doesn't have this deep meaning. It's more a party track. Yeah, it's made for the dance floors. Let You Go, the track before was a little bit deeper with an deeper meaning. It was about you losing a girlfriend and don't want to let her go and something like this. But this one is more a dance floor track.
awesome, and you have some upcoming releases as well. Can we talk about those?
Mhm.
Are they
Yeah.
secret? You can't tell anyone about who you're working with
No,
or
no.
what they're about, or are you able to talk about those
Um,
as well?
yeah, yeah, of course. I will release two tracks in the next 4 weeks, I think, or 6 weeks. Also on Two Dutch Records again. Um, and these will be together in an EP in November. So I release my first EP, and that's very special for me because it's the first um, little album I'm doing with 3 tracks, but it's an EP, but it's really special for me. So Um, in 2 weeks, I'm releasing a track, and in 6 weeks, yeah, the third exclusive track will be part of the EP I'm releasing. So that if you are listening to this new EP, that you are listening to new tracks, not only a compilation of the older tracks. Yeah.
Awesome.
So
What is the most important thing that record labels should be doing for their artists? And are they doing a good job of that?
mm, it's really hard to find some good labels, especially in the beginning. You will release tracks on labels who are only doing the artwork, or which are only doing the artwork, and bringing it to Spotify and these stuff. Um, but the main thing for me as a label um, is to publish it to the right people, promote it to the right people. Um, a label should have a promotion network, not only doing the artwork or saying, yeah, it's out now, but nothing happened. Because you are putting a lot of time and money into your tracks, also with mix and mastering, something like that, and such things like that. Um, and when the label doesn't do anything for this track when it's released, it's very disappointing. So yeah, I think the important thing is that they are giving it to the right people, and Two Dutch does a really good work with that, because with this label I reached support from Kashmir or Rehab, Going Deeper, Kirby, that are really well-known DJ and producers, and with my own network, I wouldn't reach them. So I'm very happy with collaborating with Two Dutch. Yeah, I think that's the main thing. Yes.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that's a lot of people can say, "Hey, I have my own label, or I have a label, and I want to sign artists, and I want to get them on." But then they have no outreach, they have no
Yeah.
connections, and it doesn't go anywhere. And now you signed your track off to somebody who might have rights to it, and it's like,
Mhm.
what do you do? And that's a very interesting world that I have not plunged into yet. We were in talks a few years ago, and it's still on our plate, that we wanted
Mhm.
to create a label over here at the DJ sessions.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
I have a partner that's going to help me do all that. It's just the
Nice.
process of getting it all up and running.
Hmm.
What's our sound going to be? Who we're going to be connected with, how we're going to get things out there. How are we going to sign tracks on? All that stuff that just became a whole nother business side of things, to adding on already what the DJ sessions does. I know that's a big part of the game, but we're still looking to tackle it. It'll be good when we do it. Looking at your productions that you've done so far, which has been your most favorite one, your most memorable one, or
Hmm.
favorite one that you like, and which one would that be? And what are your thoughts on why it would be your most favorite?
Okay, my absolute favorite one isn't out yet, and it isn't signed. And I'm sitting on this track, I think, over a year, or yeah, that's really crazy. I really love it, but the labels don't take it. Sometimes you don't know why. I think it's my most original and most commercial track I've made, which could work really, really nice on the radio stations or big Spotify playlists. But I don't get it signed. But my favorite track, which is out, I think, is "Let You Go," which I released 6 months ago. It was an track I've made in Denmark, uh, a country I've been every year because I have relatives there, and I really have a connection to this track. I know I was in this summer house and looking outside on the. It sounds like cliche, but it really was like that. And looking at the sea, and I made some tunes and let you go. was the tune which came out. And yes, I think that is my favorite one.
And are you a hardware producer or software producer or both? And
Yeah, mostly software. FL Studio. I'm using FL Studio since I think 3 years now. I had had a deep connection to music since I can think back, but there was a time I thought I have to do my own music, and FL Studio is a really nice software to begin with. It's really friendly how it works, and there are a lot of YouTube tutorials where you can learn it. Yes, uh, and it's always a battle between FL Studio and how does it call the other one, which everyone is using.
Ableton?
Ableton, right? Yes, but for
Yeah.
me, it's FL Studio, which I really like. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned FL. I was playing with FL3. Well, back then it was known as Fruity Loops 3.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Back in 99, 2000, I had it on my laptop. And I always
Okay.
thought that was a really fun little program to play, sequencer. To just, I would just play around with it and be like, oh, this is cool. I was never into music
Mm.
production per se. But, definitely thought that was a cool little program. And it's definitely stood the test of time,
Yeah, yeah.
as you could say.
I I remember the time when it called Fruity Loops. I when I was I think 10 or some at this age. Um, I looked for hip hop beats because I wanted to rap. And I saw on YouTube a lot of people who are using Fruity Loops to do these hip hop beats. Um, it's funny because if I note there that I'm doing my own beats 60 years later or something like that. That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, technology moves pretty fast in DJ producer land. If you could think of something that's not on the market today, but in your vision would be really amazing, a piece of gear, a software program, something that isn't there, but would be really awesome to be created, what would that be?
I think the future is these AI sounds or AI um, programs, and I think, but it's also a real big problem because in the future you can't see the difference or yeah between a AI generated song and self-produced song. And I think in the future you will have more focus on the artists than the music because music will made by AI programs. It's already in the beginning, and the person behind the music will be more important. But if I don't know any program I would absolutely need now. So I think Splice is a really nice program I'm using because you pay a monthly bill, and you get so many sounds, and they are really good. Uh, they are really good categories where you can find the sounds. And yes, I think Splice is really nice. Maybe you can make that better. Yeah.
Yeah, I just pulled it up online. I mean, give them a little plug here. It's only $12.99 a month, $13 a month.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's pennies on the dollar when you're getting access to millions of
Yeah,
samples. I mean, I remember back in the day,
absolutely.
you'd go to we'd have Guitar Center here, and you'd buy sample discs,
Mhm.
and that's what you
Okay.
got your sample because they were really. I mean, you might have find stuff online, but this is 99, 2000. I mean, YouTube wasn't even
Okay.
created yet. I mean, you might find, like I said, you might be able to buy something online, but downloading,
Mm.
you might have had, if somebody had high speed internet, you were pretty much considered a nerd. I
Mhm.
think I might have
Okay.
had high speed internet, had
Yeah.
like 1 megabit download. like
Mm.
woo, but everyone else was on 56K, 56K dial up or something,
Yes, yes, yes.
So it was
Yeah.
like, it wasn't possible to download sounds off the internet. So you'd have to go to the store and buy
Mm.
those sample discs. Now, funny enough, the sample disc would say, these are for personal use only. They were not
Okay.
licensed for commercial use. Now, is Splice licensed for commercial use, or is it? I would assume
Yes. Yeah, yeah.
nowadays it would be, yes, you can use these.
Absolutely.
They're cleared for samples. You're not going to,
Royalty free. Yes.
royalty free, exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
Royalty
yeah.
free loops. That was not the case with
That.
these sample packs from Guitar Center that you'd buy. It was kind of crazy because you'd have the hip hop ones, the electronic music ones, and
Okay.
you'd have people making beats, and it'd be like, when you read the fine print, your song isn't going to go anywhere because you don't have the rights cleared for that.
Yes, yes.
So that's always that's a rabbit hole we could go down at some other point.
Yeah, but I think that's really nice that that you don't have to think about is this sample now for commercial use or private use, and it's so Splice is a really nice program. Yeah, it's good to have it now when you talk about how it was in the past.
Mhm.
Yes. Yeah.
Definitely. Now, what was your strongest motivation to pursue a career in music? You've been doing this, you said, since the age of 10. You started playing
Mm.
around with Fruity Loops, or you wanted to be a hip hop
Yeah.
person. Were you
Yes.
doing
Yes. Yes.
anything in music before that, or what was your strongest motivation to pursue a career in music?
No, I didn't play any instrument or something like that. I just listened a lot to music, and I had the feeling that music is much more important for me than for other persons or people. Um, and that's every time I'm looking back into my past, I have a connection to music. When I was 10, it was the hip hop thing. When I was, I think 15, I managed a band in my school. And with 18, I started as a DJ, not producing, just only DJing in Stuttgart. Um, and yes, so music is really important. Music is also very important for me to calm down, to sort my feelings and my mind. Yes, that's very important for me. That's why I really love Fred again today. Fred again is such a nice producer, and I really love listening to him and walking through the park and just sort my mind. And so yeah, so music is very important. Yes.
How many hours a day, a week, a month do you spend in the
Mm.
studio? If you could break down daily, weekly, and then monthly as a total, how
Yeah,
many hours a day do you spend in the studio? All right, how many
it's
hours do you
it's
spend as like in a
yeah.
month total? Breaking it down by day, week, and then the whole month.
It really depends. There are, I have to be honest, there are some 1, 2, 3 weeks where I don't produce anything. But that's okay for me. You don't are creative anytime. So, but sometimes start, I just think about to change a bit at my actual track, and I started to do something on this on FL Studio, and 10 hours later I'm sitting there and doing a new track, and so sometimes there's there are I don't know how to say it in English, phases, phasen,
Hmm.
yeah, where you do more and some way do you less. Yeah, so I think in a month, hours in a month. uh, yeah, it's hard to say. I'm also doing my podcast, which I'm doing since 8 years, music podcast, and that's also a lot of time which goes into the podcast, into the mixes. So I think in a week there are 10 hours or something like that, and a month, yeah, up to 50 hours.
I'm
So a
glad. Go ahead.
lot of time, yeah, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. I
Okay.
wanted to talk about. I like it when guests almost preemptively they don't know the questions I'm going to ask them beforehand. But one of the things I wanted to talk to you about was your monthly podcast called Breakout. Tell us all about that.
Yeah. This Breakout podcast is a very important thing for me because I really started this one many, many years ago when I don't thought about producing, and it's just started when I wanted to make my own mixes because I thought I can do that better than the mixes I hear, and I wanted to do mixes for my friends when we are on parties, or just chilling or something like that. And more time, it got more serious every year because it got more listeners. Because I think it's also a thing that I started this podcast 8 years ago when there was not so many podcasts on the market like today. I think the most people, or a lot of people, have an own podcast or live mix series, and you don't have the time to listen to all of them. That's not possible. But so I think it was a good time to start with a podcast 8 years ago. So I have a lot of people who are listening to the podcast years ago every month, and also I think it's very good for the podcast that I'm not doing a specific genre in any mix. Or some mixes are tech house, bass house. I'm mixing the genres together in one mix. I have hardstyle mixes. So when you are listening to my podcast, you never know which live mix will be there. So
Yeah, no, I mean, I've been podcasting since 2005. We were one of the first video podcasts in the iTunes store, listed in iTunes store. I worked for Apple at the time, and the video iPod had just come out. And, I said, how do I get my broadcast television series? How do I get that onto the video iPod? And we figured it out, got it in there, and then I contacted the Apple team, the Apple dev team over at iTunes, the iTunes team, and we debuted our podcast at number 48 in the video podcast section in iTunes, which was huge. I mean, we went from 1,000 downloads a week to 10,000 downloads a week, at 50,000 downloads a week. At one point, we're doing 300,000 downloads a week. And I'm like, this is crazy insane. And the thing is we didn't know how to monetize it because audio podcasting had been there for a while, but video podcasting hadn't been there. So you might be able to figure out a way to charge somebody for an audio plug commercial, but what do you charge for a video commercial? Is this whole debacle. And so the whole thing is our show has actually, why we do live streaming, which was the progression of podcasting into live streaming. Our whole backbone of our show is a podcast, distributed to all the platforms out there that you can be on. And so I find podcasting to be it's still a wild, wild west frontier. If you talk to some of the top podcasters out there, obviously what happened in 2020, a lot of people jumped online and started doing podcasts. I think there was a double or triple growth is what the numbers were saying, but if you look at it now, how many people are still doing podcasts? I've given a lot of advice to people over the years for doing podcasts and starting podcasts. I love helping people out and giving them any help that I can. And I still think that's an untapped medium that is underutilized. A lot of people, they'll start a YouTube channel or they'll start a Twitch channel. And it's like, you got to understand, YouTube's monetizing and making money off the content that you're doing, and you're not getting anything for it. Twitch is taking money from you. You do a podcast and you set it up where you're doing like a Patreon or something, or PayPal donation, you're getting all that money, and that money can help support your podcast to buy better gear, those kind of things, or pay for some marketing, or pay for your website costs, or pay for your hosting costs.
Absolutely. Yes.
It's just, I have a lot of stories I could go over the last 18 years of, has it been 18 years of podcasting? Yeah. But it's been a fun ride. It's a fun ride. I think podcasting is definitely a huge medium, and congratulations on keeping that going, because that's an endeavor to keep something
Yeah.
going for 8 years. It's one
Yeah.
thing to say you're a DJ for 8 years,
Mm.
or you're a producer for 8 years, but to produce a show,
Mm.
that's dedication, and
Yes.
congratulations on that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Here's a question: do you have any secret aliases under which you release music?
No, no. I don't have. You won't find anything. And my hip hop rap beats you won't hear from when I was 10. No, no chance.
You should do a podcast series just on that, just a throwback
Yeah.
episode of, it's like, okay, this isn't going to be electronic music. This is something I did when I
Mm.
was 10 years, just to throw it in there as a mix to,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. That's just a suggestion. I think it would be
Mhm.
awesome for people to kind of, it's kind of like when I keep up all the old episodes, you can go back and watch the first episodes of the DJ sessions from 2009. And you look at the
Okay.
quality, you look at the
Yeah.
improv, you look at the screw ups and the mess ups, and it's almost like, did we even know what we were doing? But I'll keep those episodes live because that's history, and I think that tells a story
Yeah.
of a transition. I think
It's
that'd
the
be
same for
awesome.
me when my first episode, when you hear it, the beginning, the intro, it's wild mix. There are some sounds doesn't fit, and yeah, but it documents the progression on the podcast. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, like I said, I was talking about the transition of going from podcasting to live streaming.
Mm.
When you're doing a live stream, anything goes. Like there could be a mess up or screw up. I could say your name wrong, and it's there. It's there forever. With a podcast, you can go back and edit it and change it. Oh, hey, let's do another take. Let's make this happen.
Yeah.
So I like the on the fly production.
Mm.
Like right now, what we're doing is this is streamed live to our website, to our socials, to Twitch, to YouTube, and we're out there and people can ask questions live in real time right now as well.
Yeah.
I think that was something that really made the huge transition for me, was that when I was producing broadcast television shows, I wanted to have my shows on TV, but then I wanted to have a chat room online that people could go on the web and chat with us live when our shows were on broadcast television. Set the way forward clock 9 years, and that was made possible through the internet. We could do that online. So just seeing technology progress, where it's going to go. I think you also hit the hammer on the hammer on the nail earlier with AI music production. I think that's going to be huge. But the one thing I've heard from a lot of people though with AI music production is that it won't have a soul, and it won't have that human element touch.
That's
but
right,
could you get the groundwork done and then add the human element touch to it? We'll see where it goes.
Yeah, I think that's it. Now it don't have a soul, but what's in 2 years or 3 years, these AI programs will get better. And maybe you will. There will be a time where you can't hear the difference.
Exactly. I hear that. What has been the best business decision in favor of your artist career that you can think of? What's been the best decision you've ever made?
Hard question. I think to start this whole thing, it's a big thing to get from just thinking about producing and really start with it. That was a good thing that I started, and I know there was time in the beginning when I produced 1 year for 1 year, and my music didn't get heard from the right people, or just have 10 monthly listeners on Spotify. There was a time where I really thought I will give up, and it's too much time I have to put into this project, and I have a main job, and that's sometimes it's hard to get this all together. But just connecting with right people. I have a good friend now. He's also living near Stuttgart. Who I just wrote him on Instagram that I saw that that this guy launching a new club show in Stuttgart, and I just wrote him on Instagram and asked, and just introduced me what I made the last years, what is my biography, and said, can I be part of your new show? And because of him, I played great shows in Stuttgart with Mike Cavello or Destic, who are well known in the industry. And it's, for me, it's crazy to connect with these people I looked up years ago, and just see the progress. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, collaborations like that, when reaching out to people, you never know. I think there's the saying, I don't know who I should quote for this, but you miss 100% of the shots you never take.
Yeah,
And you
absolutely.
never know when you just reach out to that person, they might be really cool and say, hey, come on over, let's talk.
Yeah.
That's cool. And they might be being hit up by 1 million people. Maybe they're being hit up by 10,000. Maybe they're being hit up by 100, but just that one time. And they're like, yeah, sure, I'll give you some feedback, or yeah, let's collab, or yeah, I'm doing a show and I'd love to have you on it, or hey, would you want to help me produce this show? And all of a sudden it turns into a bigger thing where you're now producing this show with somebody and doing a weekly or monthly show with them. And you never know. And in this day and age, I don't know how often have you ever played the States before? Have you ever played in the United States?
No.
So if you've never played in the United States, and I was doing the traditional way that I did the show and only talked and interviewed people that came to Seattle, Washington, or maybe came to the States, forget about going to Amsterdam. We never would have had this interview if it wasn't for the technology we have today. And reaching out via email and saying, hey, would you like to be a guest on our show?
Absolutely, yes.
And you say yes, and here we are. I'm in Seattle, and you're in Germany, and
yes.
it's kind of crazy. Speaking of, it leads right into my next question. You're from Germany, one of the most important countries for electronic music worldwide.
Yeah.
Is there another country that stands in high regard or stands out to you for your type of music or for electronic music that you think is also top out there?
Yeah. I think for bass house, really France is a country who made big steps into the house movement, with artists like Tchami or Mala. France had really nice artists who invented new genres. I think bass house is a new genre, because the first bass house track or future house, also from Tchami, were invented in 8 years ago. So I think France is very, very important for the house music scene. And in countries like Sweden or Norway or Dutch, it's very important because the people are really supporting each other in these countries, and that's a thing we in Germany should more learn from it, because here is everyone is a little bit egoism, or egoist, it's hard to find real people who really want to be who really interested to bring your career further together in Germany, because there's a lot.
It's not just Germany.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
There was a meme the other day that I saw, and it says European DJs, and they're all kind of pushing each other up the ladder, and it's like American DJs, and they're kicking them off the hill and knocking them down and not helping them out,
So you have the same problem, yeah.
It's the same problem. It happens. Competition's competition, and people are trying to climb that ladder. And I've always had a philosophy here at the DJ sessions, and previously when it was ITV, my broadcast television series, that I will give anyone information 98%. Now it's 99%, because I got hit up for a lot of information in 2020 on how to produce live streaming shows. And a lot of DJs and a lot of producers were wanting to do their own thing. And I'm like, why are you wanting to do your own thing? Why don't you just work with me? Because we already have the infrastructure and everything ready to go. So now I shortened it to 99%. I'll no, I'm sorry, 97% I'll give away. The only thing I won't give away is my Rolodex, my contact database, anything of that, or free promotions necessarily, because it's like, no, you want to go do your own thing. You go through the trials and tribulations and the pitfalls that I went through. If you need technical information on what kind of camera to get, what kind of microphone to buy, what kind of software to use, I'll give that away all day long, But if you want to, like, hey, Darren, can you help promote my show to your 5,000 contacts or to your 10,000 contact email database? Like, no. No. Can I get access to that? Like, no, And I don't sell off my database to anyone. I don't trade that off to anyone. That's been a hard labor of love to put all that together, but here's something. This leads right into my next question is, if you could change one thing that bothers you from the electronic music scene, what would that be and how would you go around it?
Yeah, that thing I mentioned before, I think it's a big problem. And maybe that everything is sometimes it's so exclusive. Everything is more, gets more distant to the music. It's more show. And yesterday I saw on post from DJ Mac Germany, I think, which said that I don't know who was it, a big DJ will ban smartphones from shows, so you can't film. James Hype, I think it was James Hype, and that's also a thing I really don't like, that everyone is consuming the show through the live through their smartphones. I think that more focus on the music and less on the parts besides that.
So they've done a couple shows here. I've heard them doing it at other nightclubs, that they'll put your phone in a sealed bag, and you come into the club. You're not allowed to have a cell phone in the club. They've done a few shows. They've been successful, and you're right. But you get a lot of people that are doing this. And they're filming the show, and it's not an accurate representation of the sound quality. It's not an accurate representation. The lighting is poor. It's not good to film in. And they're sharing this online. But the biggest one that I've heard is when all the people are pulling out their phones and they're taking pictures of the DJ. And imagine if I go something like this, and somebody gets a picture of me from this side, and it may look like I'm scratching my nose up on stage. But from this angle, it may look like I'm picking my nose. And they say, oh my God, I caught a picture of this DJ picking their nose on stage. And that picture goes viral with 10,000 people talking about the DJ. It's like, I was scratching my nose on stage. I just happened to go like this or something, or just that candid look. And so, I'm on the fence. Let the phones in. Or let them in, or don't let them in. And I think what a really cool thing would be if they still have those disposable cameras. I don't know if they even sell those anymore, but if you let everyone check their phones in, and sold disposable cameras, and let those people develop the film from the disposable cameras. I think that would kind of be really cool, because you're capturing that one picture. They might get some good pictures out of it. They might get some bad pictures out of it, or even make it part of the ticket price that you get a disposable camera as you come in, and then you turn that camera in, and it maybe has a number on it. And then all the pictures from the good pictures from all those get uploaded to the site. Maybe you also get a downloaded copy of all the pictures that you took. I think that could be a very interesting thing. It reminds me of the Beastie Boys did an experiment. I don't think it was an experiment. It was planned. They were doing a concert. The concert was in the round. And they handed out, I can't remember how many video cameras they handed out, but I think it was something like 25 or 30 video cameras they handed out to different audience members. And they let those audience members film the show with their video cameras. This is way before I think iPhones even were out. And then they came back, got the footage from those people, and then made the music video of the audience perspective of all these cameras from all over
that's cool,
the arena. That was kind of really a cool experiment. It would be interesting to see more things like that happening. I try, I'll take a picture or two here or there of a big concert, like the stage,
Yeah.
But when I'm at a show, I'm at a club. I'm not pulling out my phone to take a picture of the DJ or try to get up the booth and be like, "Yo, make it a selfie." You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. I
I
think if
respect the artist in that fashion. You know,
yeah, absolutely. I think if you're doing a picture or a short video or something like this, no problem. But today there are people who are filming the whole show from the beginning to the end and just watching it through their smartphone, don't really enjoying the moment and the whole show. And I don't know how often do they really watch the videos they make. They made. I don't think it's that much.
that you couldn't have said it better.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like going back and I'm gonna film the fireworks show on my phone. Are you
yeah,
gonna go
right.
back and watch the fireworks show on your phone and be like,
Yeah,
or are you gonna share it online and somebody's gonna go, okay, let me watch the whole 45-minute fireworks show?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
just
that's
doesn't happen, and people
absolutely.
don't think that. They think, and I mean, I come from a world of playing with video cameras since the age of 6. I've been doing
Mm,
this for 42 years of video in my life,
mm,
and you know, people didn't start doing this until you got smartphones. You
yeah,
know, because I mean, unless you had a video camera, but even if you had the video camera, you're filming it, you're filming it, you're filming it. You're going to bring it back home and put the tape in the VCR and hit
yeah,
play and say, "This is the fireworks show that I watch." Everyone's going to be
yeah,
sitting there going,
yeah,
"Okay, okay."
yeah,
You're watching home movies, you know,
yeah.
and it wasn't until
And you
Apple
don't have
really came
enough
out, and
space.
I mean,
Yeah,
once the industry went digital in the sense of things, I mean, even mini DV, you could put stuff into iMovie or you could put stuff into
mm,
Final Cut Pro and edit it. That was a huge transformation as well because it gave
mm,
that home movie enthusiast the way to shorten their movies down. So it wasn't this
mm.
big long 45-minute. Look what we did in France, or look what we did in Germany.
Yeah,
Look what we
yeah,
did. Hey, they could say, here were some highlights from France. Here were some highlights from Germany. Here was this, and they make a nice little short presentation. People go,
mm,
hey, that's really cool. You
mm,
know, also distribution, you know, was key. Back when I was doing this, you couldn't distribute to broadcast television. We had public access,
mm.
but there was no YouTube. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
once YouTube came out and people had cameras, like, look, I got a TV show now. I'm on YouTube. I got a podcast. Look at, and it's like, but where's your quality? What's your distribution? What's your plan? What are you doing here? So all that was
yeah.
interesting to see come out. But you know, moving along here, what's the weirdest moment you've ever heard one of your own tunes play?
You mean when a weird moment when the song came up or something like that? Or what do you mean?
Like if you were out and about or in another country or
Yeah.
walking around, when what's the weirdest moment you've ever heard one of your songs play? Like maybe you were in a club and a DJ dropped it, or you weren't expecting to hear it.
I don't have a good story for that. I don't know. Um, no, there wasn't any moment I thought just in clubs and on other mixes from other DJs. I get a lot of support from other podcasts. Um, but yeah, now I didn't had a moment where I thought, oh, that's crazy or something like that. But I think
Nice,
the
nice.
first time when I'm sitting in a bar in another country and my track will come up, there will be a special moment.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
And now, when you're putting sets together, do
Mhm.
you follow the charts or like or what's hot? Like, oh, I'm
Mhm.
listening to Beatport. I'm going to grab the top 3 songs off Beatport and
Mhm.
put those in your mix,
Yeah.
or do you follow your heart?
Yeah, absolutely follow my heart. It depends on what music I hear in this moment, on the last days, or in which feeling I am. Oh, yeah. Um, I think that's a special thing when you come to my sets. You never know which set will await you. It really depends on how I feel when I made this set. There are sets who are more aggressive, but also more. I really like to put a break into my set where 10 or 15 minutes slow music will come up, and you can really enjoy the whole club, the lights, the people around you. Um, yeah, so but beatport is a good thing. You can get inspiration from that source. But will never do a mix where I just mix the 10 best bass house tracks. That's not what a DJ should do. But maybe that's something um, a lot of people think you should do when you are DJing. I think a lot of people just think, okay, I'm going to listen to the charts, and when I play the first 10 tracks, it will be the best set the people ever heard. But it doesn't work like that.
That's probably what I would do because I'm not a DJ.
Yeah.
I just play one on TV.
Okay. Okay.
What would you say is an essential track that is out right now that no one should miss out on, and why? Something that you might say, I am playing this right now. This is the top number one track. It's awesome. What track would that be?
I really love to play the tracks from Tchami's last album, Year Zero. It's already 2 years out, but the tracks are still insane, and I love to play them on my sets. And of course, for now, it's Fred again, like the track Delilah, Pull Me Out of This. These are really tracks who really working really nice on the dance floor because everyone knows them, and everyone connecting own story to them, to these tracks. Yes, I'm not only playing the newer tracks when I do my set. I also play older tracks because I think that's also a problem in the house music industry or in the EDM industry. You're releasing a new track, and 2 weeks later it's old. So I like to break this thing, and I want to play tracks were released 2, 3, 4 years ago, because a lot of people have more feelings to this track because they are grown with this track, or had stories to this track. Yeah. So yeah.
Awesome. Okay, here's the question I ask everyone, and this is we were talking about technology earlier. It's a little off of top, but have you looked at doing anything in virtual reality?
No, not, but I know that you are doing something like that.
I got to do that shameless self plug there. No,
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I think that's going to be that's an untapped medium. If you look at podcasting and you look at live streaming, virtual reality, if you're not looking at doing something in VR now or even just exploring it, I think a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people are going to be left behind when it goes and blows up.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously we have our VR nightclub. We had to move our VR nightclub over to VR chat. It's called Beta Nightclub in VR chat. Go check it out. This interview is being streamed live in that nightclub right now.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, we
Yeah.
can all our live streams, our exclusive mixes, all go up in there. We're
Great.
super excited to be launching that. As a matter of fact, I have my Oculus sitting right here. I got to get
Okay.
the Oculus 3 when it comes out.
Yeah.
Super excited for that, and where VR is going to go, and the what you're going to be able to do and collaborate in VR. What music creation is going to look like in VR. With
Mm-hmm.
because there you can do kind of what's spatial audio. So you can have you can have one sound come over here and then another sound come over here. You can basically
Yeah.
play around and have
Yeah.
everything
Yeah.
going around,
That's right.
like make your own music, like you're running a symphony. But there's so much potential that I think that VR is going to have. Even augmented reality or AR.
Mm-hmm.
Once the glasses come out,
Smart glasses.
whenever
Yeah.
Apple releases their glasses, and
Yeah.
you could go to a concert and you're on, or go to a show and you're on stage, and you've programmed that stage with an AR experience that
Yeah.
transforms the room. But if I'm not wearing the glasses, I can't see it. If I put those on, and now there's birds flying through the air and
Yeah. That sounds crazy.
dolphins
Yeah.
going, and
Yeah. Yeah.
the roof is like the Milky Way galaxy, and you can hit this button here to buy my t-shirt, or hit this button here to download this album and buy it. That's going to be AR, which I think is going to be really, really awesome. In that sense, or XR too, which is crossover, but we won't go down that rabbit hole. Just wanted to see if you ever had anything to do in VR. We'd love to have you play in the club. Speaking of, you just played a live set from a pool party that we're going to use as an exclusive mix. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I was on Rhodes, Greece, weeks ago, and with my friends, and we started a pool party, and we had a really nice villa where we lived there. Um, and this villa really had a really nice view over the sea, over the Faliraki city. Um, and I wanted to use it for a special live set. And you wrote some weeks ago a mail to me that you would like to interview me again and maybe have a mix again. And this is was a perfect timing for me to record that. And I think the special thing at this live set is that we have filmed it from two cameras, two perspectives. One is just filming me, and the other one is filming the pool area and where people are drinking and having fun and going to the pool, jumping into the pool. So I think just doing another mix. Last time I did it from South Terror, but just doing another live mix where you only see me could be a bit boring. It would be more interesting just to see what is going around the area. So I think this one is really special, really really nice to watch, and yeah, I hope it will be out soon.
Awesome. A couple last follow-up questions. How do you envision your life 10 years from now? Where do you see KHAG 10 years from now?
From now, I hope playing a lot of different countries, different shows in different clubs. For me, it's not important to be the number one DJ Mac DJ or something like that. For me, it's more important just to bring the music to a lot of people in different areas, to spread my music more to other countries, to other people. Yeah, that would be amazing if I play in 10 or just can live from the music in 10 years and make my money with the music. That would be amazing.
Awesome. Well, I wish you all the best of luck in doing that. Is there
Thank you.
anything else you want to say to our DJ Sessions fans before we let you go?
Just to check out my new EP, which is coming out next month. It's really a special one. Check out my last tracks, of course. And if you like good music, follow my podcast, The Breakout. You will find it on Apple Podcast, Amazon Podcast, and other sources. And yeah, it was really nice to talk to you again. Yeah,
Absolutely, KHAG. We'll definitely be following up with you, staying in touch with you. It was a pleasure
yeah,
having you
would be
on the
amazing.
show again. Where's the best places that people can find out more information about KHAG?
On my website, kh.com, or on Instagram, kh official, or just type in kh, yeah, KHAG3. Yeah,
Well, we dropped those links there right below you. There's the
perfect.
website again and the Instagram. Thank you so much, KHAG, for coming on the show. It was a pleasure
Thank
having
you,
you.
Darren.
We'll talking to you again in the future.
Okay, thank you, Darren, for having
You're
me.
welcome. On that note, don't forget to go to our website, thedjsessions.com, where you can follow us on Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, X. No, sorry, I can't say Twitter anymore. It's X. Instagram. It's all there. Amazon. Subscribe to our podcast at Apple iTunes. But everything we do is at thedjsessions.com. Go there. Over 600 news stories published every month related to the electronic music industry. Exclusive mixes from DJs like KHAG. Live interviews. Everything is there at thedjsessions.com. Go there and get some merch while you're at it. We could always use the donations. This is Darren coming to you from the virtual studios in Seattle, Washington. That's Cage coming to you from Stuttgart, Germany for the virtual sessions. And remember, on the DJ sessions, the music never stops.